Hi, my name is Colin Bjork, and this video will help you design a workflow for creating media assets for the online version of W131 here at Indiana University. Now, this workflow will have 6 steps to it, and the first step is to define your goals, right? What do you want the students to know and to be able to do by the time they've completed accessing this asset or the assignment around the asset? What should they do or know that they couldn't do or know before? The next step is determine your audience, right? You need to know the students you're working with. What do they already know how to do? What do they already know, right? Have they done analysis plenty already and this is an extension of that? Or is this an introduction to a new kind of skill? The third thing, and maybe the most important thing here that you're looking forward to knowing, is selecting the right tool to develop your media asset, right? So you'll have your goals and you'll know your audience, and those 2 factors will help you determine exactly which tool is best to meet both your needs and the needs of your students. And I want to add here, you do not need to go out and purchase any new software to develop these tools. There's plenty of free software available on the internet and also through your IU licenses. And the way to access the IU available software is to go to iuware.iu.edu. Now, in terms of some examples of kinds of software people have used in the past to create media assets for this course, Canvas is the obvious one, right? Canvas has a variety of built-in tools that already help you create quizzes or discussion sections or interactive assignments to create a kind of asset for your course within the learning management system itself. You can also use the whole Google suite of tools, right? Google Docs is quite popular along with slides, but you can even use Google Ngrams or other less commonly used Google platforms to create your media asset for this course. You can also use Kahoot. This is a personal favorite of mine. This is a real-time quizzing application that I use during my synchronous classes, actually, to kind of energize and engage my students in otherwise kind of pedantic quiz-like questions. I love Kahoot. I highly recommend it. You might also encourage your students to engage in a blog outside of class, and for that you'll need to decide what platform is best for me: WordPress, Blogger, Wix, Weebly. And again, to help decide which platform is best for you, you'll need to go back to your goals and your audience and think about, okay, what affordances and constraints do each of these different platforms offer that may or may not be something better than what Canvas already has built into it. Then, of course, you can use PowerPoint or Prezi to create a presentation for your students, and then you can put it in kiosk mode so the students can access it on their own time at their own speed. You might also use Twine to create an interactive learning environment for students to engage with a text or an example essay, for example. And you can also use Audacity or another audio recording software to create a podcast type asset for your students. You can even record audio in Zoom, which is the software that you use for your synchronous sessions already. So, and speaking of also video assets, you can use any of the other video editing and video recording softwares that come with the IU available software or with your computer as it is, right? So this includes on Macintosh, QuickTime and iMovie are built in. On Windows computers, you have Windows Movie Maker, and the Adobe Premiere Pro and Elements are available for free through IUware. All of these are terrific assets that you can use to help build video content for your course. Finally, I want to emphasize the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, which is on the 2nd floor East Tower of Wells Library, is a terrific resource that can help you as you go through the development phase of this content. They can offer consulting sessions with you in terms of how to create your content. You can also use their assets, their physical spaces. They have a 1-button recording room where you can go in, press a button, record exactly what you want, and boom, it outputs exactly the content that you need. Or you can record in a green screen room like I'm doing here. And the green screen room is a fantastic opportunity, but it requires a bit of scheduling in advance, so be sure to plan for that in your timeline. And if you work with CETL, they can even help you with some of the post-production. Now, I'm a fan of learning the skills of post-production on your own, but sometimes it's useful to have the help with post-production in terms of time. So you've got your goals, you've got your student audience, and now you have your tool. Now you need to storyboard your content, right? What is it that you're going to say? Will you ad-lib or will you be reading from a script? What visuals will you use? Will they be static images or movie scenes that are going in real time? Will you have audio, right? These are all questions that you'll need to storyboard out so that you have a clear outline of your asset before you go into the drafting phase. Speaking of the drafting phase, you want to create your asset, and this is not just a one and done activity, it is in fact the writing process itself, right? You will draft it, you will edit it, you will review. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's super important to send a rough draft of your asset to a peer instructor, for example, maybe a faculty member, maybe a former student. Get their feedback, incorporate that feedback, and then complete the final production of your asset. And once you have that final version of your asset, you can upload it to the master build in our Canvas site for Online 131, and you can make it probably an assignment, although you might make it a quiz or a page. And from the master build Online 131 site, then you can pull it into your site. This makes sure that the assets that you've created go into the larger repository of assets for all instructors of W131. And I want to close by saying I spoke with the copyright librarian here at IU, and I want to emphasize we have shared rights with IU over all of the media content that we create here. And what that means is that IU has access to use this media content in perpetuity after you've created it for this course, but you also have access to use this content in perpetuity. That means you can use it when you go on the job market. You can add it to your teaching portfolio. You can even use it at a future institution that you might find yourself teaching at. So, good luck and have fun.